Here at the Future of Payment conference, I'm talking to Michael Salmony from Equens Worldline, and we're talking about PSD2 and what that means for the banks, what it means for us, what it means for developers, and how to make it work. So Michael, Equens Worldline, how many people work there?
10,000.
And you're one of the biggest payment processors. How much money goes through your systems?
17 trillion, 3 times the GDP of Europe goes through our system.
Yes, 3 times the Europe. And how much money do you make? How much sales does that give you?
Over 10 billion a year.
So 0.1% or a little bit less than that. Now, PSD2, how important is that for the financial industry and how important is it for your company?
We think it's going to be an absolute game changer. This will change the world of banking and of payments. It is like the liberalization of the telecoms. When the telecoms were monopolists in that space, that changed the world. We now have iPhones and the world is a different place. And we think PSD2 is going to be similar.
Okay. What do you do with PSD2? What is your role?
I am running the PSD2 program for Equens Worldline, and I'm also in a number of European gremia which try to move this topic forward.
So you're advisor to the European community. How long is PSD2 in the making?
Well, it came out about 2 years ago, and so it's going to apply from January next year. So we're just about to hit the market. Yeah.
And everybody in the financial industry is ready for it?
I'm not so sure about that, but we're trying to help everybody do that. But there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered, and we're trying to help resolve those and try to provide some of the solutions.
68% of the bankers fear that PSD2 will result in losing control of the client interface, which is true. So all the bankers know it's going to happen and they fear about it. I mean, is there fear, is that a true fear?
I think there's a spectrum. There are some who are a bit worried about it and only want to do the minimum compliance, and some who see this as a huge opportunity and want to embrace it and become a new digital player and play a new game.
Yeah. Give me a couple of scenarios why we as consumers would profit from it.
It's the app store for banks. So in the past or now, you basically have the website of your bank and you have a mobile app of your bank and you have a card of your bank. In future, we will get 1,000 different people coming up with creative new ideas.
But most people here in Holland are extremely happy with their internet interface. They don't change bank. They change banks way less than partners in life. You know, just like so they're not so unhappy. So give me a scenario where it can work a lot better.
Well, just because they don't change banks, I don't think that's the right argument, because when the liberalization again of the telecom happened, it didn't mean I changed my provider. It means I get an iPhone and I can do Tinder and I can do...
But give me now some interesting Angry Birds iPhone scenarios in the banking industry thanks to PSD2. Give me some nice scenarios.
There are going to be some where I just get a nice overview of my finances, right? Instead of having to delve into my 3 different bank accounts and my credit card and log in with different things, I get one lovely overview of how much I have. I can move my money to the account where it's best placed. I can see how much I can afford, whether I can go on holiday, and the whole user experience will be totally different.
Yeah, and the banks want to be that interface. But everybody wants to be that interface, and there might be outside players. Do you see any interesting outside players which are going to be big in making that beautiful dashboard view?
Well, there already are some. Yodlee in the US already has 50 million users. They're sure going to come to Europe and want to show all the experience of how to generate a fantastic user interface. And Moven is another famous one. But there are also some homegrown ones, like AFAS, for example, who instead of downloading CSV files manually into your application, can suddenly access your account in a convenient way.
An Englishman which knows about AFAS and about cash and about a book. And indeed, that it would be a lot nicer to give me an overview of information. You also were talking about some interesting services. So with your mobile phone, get money out of your cash machine. Is that also that would be possible?
That is actually the main use I have in the UK for my mobile banking app. I don't use my app to look at my transactions. I roughly know what I've done, but it has a button which allows me to get cash out of any ATM without me having to take my debit card with me or enter any crazy numbers. So a really convenient way I can get money out of any ATM in the UK, and I can also send a code via SMS to my son so that he can get money out of any ATM, and that's a fantastic service.
I wonder if people would, if they are bothered using their debit card. But it was a nice example. Also, paying bills as a pop-up saying, hey, instead of going into your bank account and going to the IBAN number, you just get a pop-up. Do you want to pay this bill? Is that the Nordic way versus the German way?
Well, already the Nordics have shown how to do that. When you get a bill, you don't get, as you sometimes do in Germany, in fact 1 billion people do, that you get a piece of paper where you have to fill in lots of IBANs and post that, but instead you just get a notification on your phone. The dentist wants to be paid, are you okay with that? And I say yes.
That can be a PSD2 application.
So this is the whole idea. Massive success, open innovation. We're going to get this dashboard, the app store for banks, and we're going to get all these applications. But what are these applications going to be? The nice that inside Facebook I can do all my bank business, but I wonder if there's a nice scenario. And then how are we going to make this work? Are all the banks going to interface with everybody else, the third-party developers? Or is there an API bank where everybody agrees? Or do we have all these kinds of user interfaces which go from here to that kind of user interface? Or is there a nice hub in between? Because there are so many APIs. We have a Nordic API, a UK API, a French API, and we need somebody in the middle. And I wonder who that person in the middle is, who connects everybody to everybody. So Michael, this hub idea, who could possibly fulfill that function?
Well, clearly processors like us have a natural place there because we're already connected to lots of banks, so we can offer a single interface for a fintech who doesn't want to bother about connectivity. Mm-hmm. They just connect to us and we can reach all the banks in Europe. Yeah. But it won't only be people like us, it'll be people IBM or Visa maybe, they already also connected to banks. There'll be fintechs who will be providing
There will be a whole bunch of people in the middle to make it easy possible to have every third-party developer connect to every bank in a secure and easy way. Exactly. Is it going to be a very expensive operation for the banks?
Well, they will have to invest in these new interfaces and make sure it's secure because you don't want any hackers coming in via this new interface. So there is an investment, absolutely. Yeah. But if you look at other industries that have opened up, look how Google and the telcos and the App Store, what massive benefits that has brought.
Sorry, banks, you just have to do it. And we're here at Equins Worldline to serve you.
I think you nailed it.
Okay. Thank you.